condition, arthritis, is often linked to older people, but it also affects 15,000 children and young people here in the UK. Now, the world's first research centre dedicated to understanding more about the disease in teenagers has opened in London. Here to tell us more, the classical artist Wright, who suffered from adolescent arthritis, and Arthritis Research UK's medical director, Professor Alan Silman. Morning to both of you again. Right, Laura, just tell us a little bit about the early condition that you had, and indeed how you've conquered it.
So I was diagnosed with septic arthritis when I was about 7 years old, and it took quite a lot of time to diagnose exactly what was wrong with me because of this blurry area around the research surrounding arthritis. And I am fully cured. I still have ongoing problems, but obviously after I was diagnosed and sort of recovering, it made it very difficult to be involved in things like sport at school, getting myself back into school, because I actually went back in a wheelchair as well.
And you were a very sporty child. Yes,
and I still am very sporty now, luckily thanks to being looked after so wonderfully as a result of finding out about arthritis. But that's what we're talking about today, is so important.
Yeah, I mean, Alan, lots of people, me included, you think of arthritis and you tend to think of older people, and you don't think of a cure, both of which it turns out are wrong.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's one of the myths about arthritis, that arthritis only affects older people. And as you said at the beginning, there are 15,000 children and young people in this country that have arthritis. And I think one of the challenges for us is, in a number of cases, people like Laura, for example, after suffering for a period of time, get better. Others need to take treatment throughout their childhood and adolescent years. And others, when they develop their arthritis in childhood, it persists. And one of the challenges for us, and why we're so keen about this new research centre that we're opening, it's going to begin to address some of the challenges that are really important. You know, the adolescence, the teenage times are times when there's a lot of hormonal changes, when your body is growing, the skeleton is finally forming. Things like the way our brain perceives pain changes. So there's lots of ways that the arthritis can become worse or more difficult to manage. So what we're really hoping is that we can tackle some of these problems, because the reality is, in those years of life, the young people that are suffering from it, they want to be normal. They want to do everything that their fellows can do in terms of their schoolwork, the social work, taking part in sport. They don't want their arthritis to take over their lives. So we need to tackle these unanswered questions.
And Laura, you are a very good advert for having recovered from this, because you are selling shed loads of CDs and taking part in lots of sport, and you were singing the national anthem at Twickenham yesterday, so you have left this behind you.
Definitely. I still get a few niggles here and there, but I feel very lucky and blessed that I am, 100% better. And as you say, I really want to be an advocate for being a positive outcome of this, and to also be a profile to shed light on the research that's going to happen in this new Centre for Arthritis Research UK.
Now, I mentioned that you sell an enormous number of CDs. You are a fantastic singer. It would be remiss for us not to ask you to just give us a little demonstration of your recovery. So, in your own time.
This is just a little tiny bit from Jerusalem, which I sang at Twickenham yesterday. And was Jerusalem builded he among those dark Santonic
mills. Alan, if you want an advocate, that's a pretty good one, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's fantastic that Laura's an ambassador for the charity, because she's had such an important story about how arthritis can affect people at a young age. It can take time to be diagnosed. There are cases where you can get complete cure and undertake them, a phenomenal range of achievements that Laura's doing. But of course, we've got to remember the several thousands that doesn't apply to.
Indeed.
So,
Alan,
thanks
Laura,
for that.
Thank you both very much for coming, indeed. And Laura, beautiful voice. Thanks. Thank you very much.